Please join me as I create the Honeycake offerings for my Summer Solstice and Midsummer creations in honor of Grandmother Bear and the Fae Court. My name is Kayla Alyssa, and I am the Wayward Witch. In my previous video, I shared the creation of my intentionally crafted honey infusion, which will be used in the creation of the honey cake on the actual summer solstice. If you are using infused honey, please allow it to macerate for at least 7 to 9 days. You will also want to double the required amount as the botanicals absorb a lot of the honey, and as you can see, the final yield is often quite less than you expect. The day prior to baking the cake, you strain away the herbal yummies. I recommend placing the honey-coated botanicals in a jar and storing it in the fridge for at least a week, as it makes a really great tea. The night before, you can also prepare the herbal infused milk. For the demo, I am only working with elderflower. However, on the day of the solstice, I will be ritually infusing the milk overnight with all 3 botanical offerings: elderflower, lindenflower, and honeysuckle. For information on why these botanicals, please view the part 1 video of my Summer Solstice series, which I will attempt to link below. For my version of this recipe, you will need 1 cup of infused milk. I used 1 1/4 cup as they will absorb some of the milk and reduce the final yield. I like to think of it as my offering to the botanical spirits for the energy and intention that they are lending to this creation. For the honey cake, you will need 1 honeycomb cake mold. Mine was found on Amazon, and I will link it below. I have no affiliations, it's just in case you're looking to find it. Now, the batter yields more than 1 mold, but not enough for 2, so I used mini molds as well, but you can substitute muffin tins. A cookie sheet to support the mold, 3 cups all-purpose flour, 3/4 tablespoons baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 3/4 cups sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, a 1/4 cup herbal infused honey, ritually created with intention, 2 sticks butter softened, 4 eggs, 1 cup herbal infused milk, ritually created with intention, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract, and oil or cooking spray to grease the mold. The original honey cake recipe found at moodymoons.com, which will be linked below, uses regular honey and milk. However, I added ritual intention through the selection of botanicals and infused both the honey and milk. I have created a PDF outlining the recipe, my adaptation, as well as the outline for the summer solstice that's found in the previous video, the intentions of the botanicals that I'm working with, and a brief outline of the Grandmother Bear ritual that I mentioned also in the other video. If you are interested in receiving a copy, please comment below and I will be in touch. Now let's get down to it. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, grease your mold or spray it, I used coconut oil spray, and place it on your cookie sheet. In 1 bowl, sift the flour, baking soda, and salt, and then in a larger bowl, cream your butter and sugar until fluffy. Beat in the eggs 1 at a time. Add your honey and milk. As you can see, I'm speeding this along. And then slowly alternate between adding the flour mixture using the sifter and the infused milk. Now, in my previous rose cookie video, I shared a tip with you for adding energy and intention while sifting the flour. I found that as I beat the side of the sifter against my palm, it creates a beautiful rhythm like shamanic drumming and allowed me to raise energy towards the intention of the cake. It's a beautiful way to stay focused and centered. After all, this cake is part of a sacred celebration within your chosen path. Whether it will be used as an offering and or shared with family and friends, your energy and intentions are a key ingredient in its creation. Now, my grandmother, or mama, taught me many things. one of which is to tidy as I go, so bear with me as I clean this up. Once the batter is ready, it's time to fill your mold. It is recommended that you use a cookie sheet. However, the mold fit within my 9x9 baking pan and felt a little more secure, so that's what I used. Now don't forget to grease the mold prior to filling. Again, I used a coconut oil spray, and I also noticed the batter was much thicker than I expected, so you have to really ensure it's getting into all of the honeycombs evenly, and as it will rise, only fill it about 3/4 of the way. For the excess, I purchased these round bee molds. Yes, they are mainly used for soap baking, but for the ones that I purchased, the manufacturing details indicated that it is oven safe to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So I got a 2-mold set. One is strictly for baking and the other for soap making. If you decide to do the same, please make sure that you confirm if the one you are purchasing is oven safe and to what temperature. Once again, fill 3/4 of the way. I ended up having enough excess batter to fill the mini mold twice. Estimate on baking time depends on how hot your oven runs. Moody Moons actually did not provide a time, but I'll do my best based on the experience I had during this trial run. Our oven is old and a gas oven, so temperature distribution is not consistent, but the minis were done in 15 minutes when I inserted a knife, being careful not to go all the way down to the bottom so I don't damage the silicone mold. It came out clean. I left the main mold, the honeycomb mold, for 30 minutes total and checked it. Then I left it for another 5, but to be honest, it probably should have stayed a little bit longer. The second batch of minis actually took 20 minutes, so it's important to check as you go on this first test round. Now once the baking time is done, it is recommended that you cool in mold for at least an hour and a half before molding. I did do this and I had no issues at all with the mold coming off. It was beautiful. I love these molds. The end result is a cauldron full of love and intention. My Fae Court mini cakes and Grandmother Bear's honey cake. I really love how they turned out. The cake is more bread-like, very dense, so another tip I'd like to share is if you are going to consume the cake, is to make either a Grand Marnier or rum simple icing or heated infused honey. For the icing, it's just a cup of icing sugar and enough Grand Marnier or rum to reach that consistency of fluidity that you love, and just drizzle it up on the top and serve. These cakes were baked on the 3rd quarter moon or half moon. For me, the half moons are liminal time and portals are open. So what better time to make an offering to the Fae of the land where I live than tonight? Fae exists all around the world, and this year I purchased a book that I can't wait to dig into. I was inspired by the sigil that they shared to call on the Fae Court. This ritual is to petition the Fae, but I modified it to welcome them and simply make an offering to them. First, I lit my hedge witch candle to set intention. I used my grandmother blackthorn spray both on myself and on the offertory platter to purify, protect, and ground intentions. Then, using the same birdseed that we have in our feeders, I created the Fae Court sigil. As I crafted the sigil, each section became a meaning, an energy that I called forward. This was just from within me and made the sigil more personal between myself and the Fae. It was an organic process, as the sigil holds many aspects of my own personal sigil that I created for my workings. Once the sigil was completed, I stated my prayer of offering and welcome. I also set the intentions I seek for my relationship with them. I did not invite them to my land, but humbled myself by stating that this land is not my land, it's theirs, and I ask their permission to seek shelter and protection while I reside here. I then took the offerings outside, sat in meditation with it under one of the trees, restated this intention until it felt right to leave it for them. Now, it was gone by the time I went to bed that evening, so I am grateful that the offering was accepted and we can begin to build our relationship. I hope that you enjoyed both my videos on the main aspects of my summer solstice celebrations and offerings, but that's not where the work ends. These are just standard offerings to the spirits that I work with. It's a show of gratitude. I then have my own workings and the creations for the store to be made on the solstice itself, and I can't wait to share them with you. If you are interested, please turn on your notifications on my Instagram account for both posts and stories. If you're not sure how to do that, reach out to me on Instagram and I'll walk you through it. For now, as always, I encourage you to embrace the dark, to find the light, and live in balance. May your solstice dreams come true. Much love from me, the Wayward Witch, to you.